Early voting for the November 4th election begins tomorrow. Texans will vote on local measures and 17 proposed amendments to the state constitution. And decisions will be made on 2 open seats. Former Houston mayor and Democratic Congressman Sylvester Turner passed away in March. 16 Democrats are vying for that Harris County seat. And also open, the District 9 seat formerly held by State Senator Kelly Hancock. The Republican from North Richland Hills resigned in June to become the acting Texas comptroller. About 46% of Tarrant County residents live in the predominantly Republican district. There are 3 candidates in the race, Democrat Taylor Rehmet and 2 Republicans, former Southlake Mayor John Huffman and conservative activist Leigh Wambsganss. This is a closely watched race, in part to see how voters feel about expanding gambling in the state to include destination resort casinos. John Huffman started a construction company before winning a seat in city government. He served as mayor pro tem before being elected Southlake mayor in 2021. He has the endorsement of State Representative Charlie Guerin. He raised $575,000 so far to run for this seat, $5,000 from Mike Sandlin, $15,000 from the housing group Texans for Reasonable Solutions, and then $500,000 from the Las Vegas Sands Casino Resort Company. So why vote for you and not the other 2 candidates in the race?
So listen, this has been an incredible race. It's been fast and furious, and the energy around our campaign has been incredible. And I think that's because people understand, and why I got into the race, which is that SD9 is a very, very important region. And the voters of SD9 need a proven conservative leader to represent them in the Senate. I had the experience to make a difference on day 1, and they don't have to worry about what kind of senator I'll be, because they can look at what kind of mayor I was and see the things that we got to work on that matter to their families. Things like property taxes, education, infrastructure, public safety. Those are the things that I worked on as mayor and had a lot of success with.
Major opponent on the Republican side, Leigh Wambsganss, she ran a conservative cell phone operator, has been a political advocate in the area for a while. What's the difference?
Yeah, so like I said, the voters of SD9 deserve a senator that's ready to do the job day 1. So I was mayor of Southlake for 3 years, city council for 6 years before that, been in a variety of appointed roles at the city level and the state level on the psychology licensing board. And I think voters are recognizing that we have the experience to make an impact for their families. Because as mayor, think about the things that I got to work on, whether it's public safety and increasing our funding for our police officers and firefighters and our school resource officer program, or if it's infrastructure, making sure our roads and our water and the power is taken care of. Those are the things that matter to this district.
If elected to the Senate, what are some of the bills, the priorities that you're going to put forward at the beginning?
Now, first and foremost, we got to tackle property taxes, focusing on residential homesteads. So if we can increase that homestead exemption.
Even more than it is.
Even more than it is. Listen, law should reflect good public policy. People are getting priced out of their homes. I was with a supporter named Jay last night, in fact. He was telling me about his parents, aging parents. They're on a fixed income, but their city hasn't frozen their property taxes. He is literally having to supplement their fixed income just to pay their property tax bills, or they'd have to leave their home. That's fundamentally wrong to me. We have to step in and ease that burden. If we can't eliminate it, then greatly reduce it.
The expansion of gambling is a big difference that's come up in this race. You're supportive of expanding gambling. Leigh Wambsganss is not in the legislature. What's driving your position?
So let me clarify where my position is, Phil. And I've been very clear since the beginning. I am supportive of Texans voting on whether or not to expand gaming in the state. I believe that Texans can decide for themselves whether or not they want these large destination resorts inside the state. There are good arguments on both sides, and I want Texans to be able to vote and decide. But I think one of the reasons why that voters are increasingly attracted to our campaign is because they can sniff out inauthenticity and they can sniff out hypocrisy. It was just reported in multiple news outlets last week that my opponent on the Republican side actually made millions of dollars selling a company that distributed, they're called pull tab machines, but they're basically electronic slot machines. So there's a lot of inconsistencies in the record, what she says and what she's done, how she's made her money. My position from the very start is I trust Texans to decide on this issue, and that's what I'll support.
So you would be a yes on sending it to the voters, but do you have a personal position on whether to expand gambling or not?
My personal position is I will respect whatever the voters decide. I want to send it to the voters, and if they decide that they want to keep it as is, great. If they decide they want to expand it in some reasonable way. Now, I'll tell you what I'm not in favor of, and that is casinos and slot machines on every corner. Slot machines like the ones that my opponent got rich selling. The communities have to be kept safe, and I think that's very important. So if it is expanded, I want it to be in a very limited way that makes sense for the economy of Texas going forward.
The Las Vegas Sands company and the family is supporting you on this issue of sending the gambling issue to the voters. You know, everybody gets big donations, but your opponents would say, you know, you have the vast majority of your campaign donations from the Las Vegas Sands world. What's your response to that?
So, Dr. Allison and the family who fund the Las Vegas Sands and the PACs that are contributing to my campaign, they're also one of the very largest donors in Republican history. Over 9 figures, over $100 million to President Trump, and millions of dollars to conservative leaders like Greg Abbott, Lieutenant Governor Patrick, Ted Cruz. So, and I'm honored to be on that list. I'm honored that they saw me in the same vein as those conservative leaders and said, that's the kind of senator we want in the Texas Senate.
I also spoke with Leigh Wambsganss. She's been active in Republican politics for 30 years in North Texas and was the executive director of Patriot Mobile Action, a political group of a conservative cell service provider. She has the endorsement of President Donald Trump, Senator Ted Cruz, Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, leader of the Texas Senate, and Congressman Brandon Gill. She's raised almost $850,000, $100,000 from the PAC of a West Texas oilman, Tim Dunn, $100,000 from the big business group Texans for Lawsuit Reform, and has a $200,000 personal loan. Basic question, but why vote for you or not, and not the other two candidates in the race?
I'm the only candidate in this race with over 3 decades of experience working for North Texas, specifically statewide issues, national issues, county issues, and at the local level. I've worked on everything from policy to legislation. I've worked on resolutions and bills, and so I have the most experience of anyone coming into this race.
If elected, what are going to be some of your top priorities, first bills to file?
Everywhere I go. It doesn't matter what trade, what socioeconomic level, everyone says 2 things: property taxes and public safety. And so I would like, you know, on the November ballot, we have an opportunity to raise our homestead exemption up quite a bit. I would like to raise that up to $200 right off the bat for everybody, because right now we have 100,000, everyone can vote, and bump that up to 140,000 homestead exemption. If you are 65 or you have a disability, you can bump that up. You get an additional 10,000 already. That's going to bump up to 60,000. So if you're a retired person, you could have a homestead of 200,000 on your homes. And we have the budget, we have the excess in the budget to replenish and keep the school districts whole and still give our citizens tax relief.
Do you think that we will have enough money to do that year over year? Moving to 140 to 200,000 is a big change. It's
a big change, but let me tell you, we're the 8th largest economy in the world, 2.7 trillion GDP. Our annual budget's over $360 million. We have the money. That would be fine. In fact, we have more than enough money to do that. The other issue, though, the top 2, is public safety. And so that comes down to your local policing agencies, your sheriff's office, but it also includes the border. And I think as Republicans, we have to be planning now. The post-Trump presidency is something we have to be prepared for. We can't get caught again like we did when Biden took office and opened our borders. We have to keep Texans secure regardless of who's in the White House.
A big issue in this race is the expansion of gambling. John Huffman is supportive of letting the voters decide. He said he'll support that. What's your position on this? How would you vote?
I do not support the expansion of gambling in the state of Texas, but I will tell you, if you enjoy that thing, it's a short drive away. The law enforcement that help me, that are supporting me and endorsing me, tell me that for every $1 gambling brings into a community, it requires $4 of law enforcement and social services. So it's really not a net gain. Additionally, a lot of the talking points are, oh, we'll let the voters decide. Well, those gambling entities have billions and billions of dollars, and they can really do an incredible, misinformation campaign. So that's why that's the talking point on that. There's another talking point where people say, oh, I don't want a casino on every corner. Well, guess what? If you pass it in the state of Texas, you can't stop it from having a casino on every corner. So, you know, we're two hours away, you know, go up to Oklahoma.
Drive there if you want to.
Have a good time. They have great concerts, you know, all of the above. We now have Dickies Arena and amazing concerts here, so we don't have to leave the state.
Huffman and his supporters actually argue that you guys actually aren't too far away on this. He points to your family made some money on the pull tab slot machines in other states. What's going on there? Your response?
It's so silly. It's his deflection to getting caught with having over 94% of his campaign funds coming from one out-of-state gambling interest. That was charitable gaming, which is completely different. It was a fundraiser for the VFW, and it's really quite humorous.
Is that still going on right now?
No, that was sold in 2018.
You have grassroots experience, private experience in the private sector. He has public experience in the city government. Is that a big difference?
I think it is, and I've been very active in our city, in both our city side, municipal side, and the school district side, both from policy, both from taxation and all of that. My husband's a former mayor in my city. The difference is my experience isn't just with one city. For over 30 years, and you know, that also makes me old, but it's also comes with that experience, I've worked for multiple cities. There are 23 cities in this district. We have 13 school districts in this district. Out of the 5 school districts the state of Texas is looking to take over due to poor performance, 2 of those are in SD9. We've got some work to do in our Senate district.
And we're working to speak with the Democrat in the race as well. Look for extended candidate interviews on NBCDFW.com. If no candidate gets 50% of this vote, the race will go to a runoff.